Thank you for joining us today.
My guy.
I've got my guy Tyler. We've been friends for a few years. I'm just going to take a moment to let you explain what it is you do and go from there.
Mean, bro. Anyway, he uri tēnei no Ngāi Tahu, no Ngāti Pro, no Te Aotearoa Hoki. I'm Tyler, and now the City Councillor for Riccarton, and I hold the city's multicultural and youth portfolios. Pretty big.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
It's dope.
Yeah.
But council in itself, not many people know, but on a year-by-year basis, we make decisions on about $1.5 billion.
Jeez.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, that's just Christchurch.
Yeah. Over 10 years, about 16 billion worth of decisions that goes into roads, footpaths, parks, building consents.
Biking lanes?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Cycling lanes is a big one, bro.
Yeah.
Contentious.
It's good though. You need to see more
mean.
public transport in cities, man.
It's mean. But the councillor's job, really, in my view, is more of like a mediator between the community and council staff, pretty much, to make decisions for the future. It's all about intergenerational stuff, well-being.
Yeah.
But there's always contentious issues. It's real weird, man, because the biggest fights that councillors will get into, like politicians, because that's essentially what we are.
Yeah.
It's a sharing of ideas.
Yeah.
And your idea has to be the best in order to get across the line. So when I think about that, the most contentious issues we have at the table is so whack, bro. It's not about like money or anything like that. It's a part of it. But the number one issue that people have is transport. Like it's just, if someone goes into someone else's turf and makes decisions on someone else's turf on like a street corner or intersection or something like that, man, the whole world's just going to be all up in flames.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it seems like biggest hurdle is just the transport side of
It's crazy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you got parks and things that we sort out. Pretty much anything the city touches, it's us.
Yeah.
Politicians and central government pretty much make decisions for more long-term funding, things like that, and regulation, essentially. So they regulate council, but council, and people should know this, is we pretty much do everything that people see outside.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
And so then your role within that is kind of like you're almost like the bridge between like the staff that, we say, hey, council is this, and then there's us outside council, and you're kind of the bridge that is kind of on the ground floor sort of thing?
Yeah. So I'll bring heaps of people's ideas on board, and I'll take it to council and say, hey, this is our idea. What do you guys think? Usually win or lose, or you might find some middle ground, which is always nice.
Yeah.
But I think, all in all, it's a pretty amazing job, dream job. And I'm one of the youngest, actually weirdly, one of the youngest in the country. The average age is around 55 to 70.
I was about to say, bro, it seems like you'd be young.
It's a bit of a weird place to be in.
Yeah, because how old are you now?
33.
33, okay.
Yeah, so there's 4 of us that are 33 and under out of 17. Everyone else is a bit more in the older generation.
Yeah, experience.
Experience is a good word. Yeah. Whether it be lived experience or work experience, but it's really cool, man. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. So trying to get off here, I'm just running with it. What is it? So what made you kind of go into that? What was it that you were like, hey, council, man, I want to get in there? Yeah,
well, there's the OG story. When I was running basketball, I know we're going to talk about that soon, but when I was running my basketball business, I started off working with young people. And I started off as a skills trainer. So back in Otago, when I was playing down there, I got injured and thought, oh man, I can't play for this X amount of years. And I was a personal trainer at Les Mills, making some good coin. It wasn't really rewarding for me. So I thought, man, let's just try and blend basketball and personal training together. And at the time, there was only one trainer that I knew of at the time, was Drew Hanlon in America.
Yeah.
And this is going back 2011, 2012. And there was no other skills trainers in New Zealand at the time.
No.
So there was a big gap in the market for me. And I noticed that a lot of the imports wanted to get some work in because they had skills trainers over in America. And there was a lot of kids that sort of didn't get the fundamentals right. Anyway, long story short, created this business called Crossover Coach. And it was really good. It started booming, started running holiday camps and being a consultant, giving advice to other coaches. And I was only 21 at the time, man. So I was still learning myself.
Yeah.
And then fast forward about 8 years, I went to work in the Rowley area, Hillmorden area. And I remember this one thing really clearly. was from this young kid. He had no shoes on, and I asked him where his shoes were, and he said, "Sir, I don't have any." I said, "Well, where are they? Are they in your class? Where are they?" And he said, "Oh, sir, I don't have any. Me and my brother, we share shoes every second day."
Damn, bro.
And I went home and started crying. I was like, "Holy heck, this is actually real. Like poverty is like the real thing in New Zealand." And I thought, I need to change this. So I started doing some stuff. Kicked off midnight basketball with Canterbury Basketball. Yeah.
I didn't know you did that. Oh, that's dope.
So Canterbury Basketball came up to me with this idea. And I said, "This is a great idea, but we've got to do some more stuff. It needs a bit of chopping and changing." It was an idea that came from Australia. And they were working with the Sudanese kids over there because a lot of them are up to no good. So the idea was to take them on a Friday night and pretty much keep them off the street, put them on the straight and narrow, And I said, "Yeah, cool, we'll bring it over. Needs a bit of kaupapa Māori content, because we're working with those kids quite a lot." Started off on the east side, you'll probably remember. Started off on the east side, started getting 10 kids, 20 kids, 30 kids, 40 kids. So I noticed that with midnight basketball, I was making change. They were going to me with job references, things like that. I've had dozens of young kids come up to me and say, "Sir, look what I'm doing now." And they'll be working in businesses, they'll be doing other things. Or I'll get a phone call from like the warehouse or New World and say, "Hey, I've got a reference for rah, rah, rah."
Wow.
I'm like, "Yo, that's awesome here. They're amazing. Make sure you hire them, rah, rah." But I noticed that some of those kids were slipping through the cracks. And back when we were working with young kids, back then they used to do this traffic light thing. So a green light would be a kid that goes to school all the time, more than 75% attendance, and they're on the straight and narrow pretty much. They get good grades. Then there's the orange lights where they could go both ways. They'll either go red or green. Now the orange lights are the ones that they mean well. They're amazing kids, but they're just getting led the wrong way from pretty much crap mates. And then you've got the red lights who are a minority, but they can affect both traffic lights. So the red lights are the ones that have had a lot of trauma at home. They definitely don't go to school. They're chronically missing from school. And they'll go out and do the ram raids, things like that. Now, a lot of people's vision would be cut the red lights out and bring the oranges to greens. But you can't do that because the orange lights work with the red lights quite a lot. That's their mates. So it was working at it for a while there. I was bringing the oranges back to greens, and the reds would occasionally turn to orange, but then they'll go back to red. And I was thinking, man, I'm not making enough change here. I'm with them for five hours a week out of the 127 hours. What are they doing the other 122? Being little shits. So I thought, okay, if I can't change them with my 5 hours, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and change policy, and I'm going to try and change the landscape of what our young people are around. And what I noticed was the biggest thing I heard from young people was kids have nothing to do. They're bored. So they'll go and do some naughty stuff with their mates. Go to shops, take some ice creams.
And that's it, bro. Like if you're in a group of 5 guys and 4 people think it's a good idea, that 5th kid's going to join.
100%.
So, and it's like, we all know what it's like being young, especially being boys as well, because girls don't do as much dumb shit as us, I think. So it's like, I've done some dumb stuff and it was because 2 out of the 3 or 4 out of the 5 thought, hey, what a genius idea.
Exactly, man.
It doesn't work out being that way.
Majority rules, man.
Yeah.
And then I noticed, exactly. It's temporary change. So now what I've done is I took on the youth portfolio and the multicultural one, which includes Pacifica, Asian, Māori, European, all of those kids. And I want to talk about ethnicity soon, but ethnicity is different to culture. No matter what you hear in central government, all of that stuff. Ethnicity is a definition of some parts of your culture. So the reason why I'm putting out ethnicity there is because there's cultural values that align differently to what the normal Western-centric view is, which means that you need someone who's have lived experience in that, and a seat that makes the decisions, man.
Agreed.
Agreed. It's easy as, right?
You can't be talking on Pacifica if you don't have people that are of that descent talking about it, because you haven't lived in that with multiple people living in the household, different generations in one house.
Exactly.
One generation maybe not working, So if you don't have those people that have those lived experiences, just because I've read about it in a book doesn't mean they know what it's like. So
exactly, bro.
It does have to have, you need to have a collective group. Like we have such a multicultural sort of country, like or ethnicity, depending on how you define it. It's like there's so many immigrants that have come here that are first, second, third generations. All of them need to be part of the decision, because now, like, we've got a big Asian population, whether it be Filipino. Like, have you seen the Filipino basketballs? Like, you got like Pacifica, which obviously has its multiple cultures within that. You got Maori, which is just becoming bigger and bigger. Except don't ask this government, because they'll say it's not. And then you've got everyone else, right? And like I don't even fit into any of those. And then I'm still here. So it's like, but I'm a Kiwi. I was born here too. So you need people from all walks of life making a decision, not just, hate to say it, but like for the last 100 years, 200 years, we know who's been making decisions, and it needs to slowly change and adapt with the times, and incorporate everyone.
Exactly. How did you go through that? I guess the question for me is how did you get through, I guess, that identity thing? Because that's the key part, right?
I didn't think you were going to ask me that question. That's a good question.
I mean, identity is the founding, or it's a foundation of who you are, right?
Yeah.
So how did you navigate it?
Well, it was funny. All right, where do I start? I always thought like I needed to find my group. So I'm an only child, right? You know, my mum didn't have a dad, so single parent, only child. I always just wanted to fit in, like, and I felt like I had abandonment issues and stuff like that. So I'm all good. Like, I've gone through it now as an adult, which has been good. So I kind of don't look back at it as a bad thing. I've turned it into like a positive, because you have to, man. Like everyone's got their shit, you know what I mean? So like that was my shit, and it was. So I always tried to like fit in. So like friend groups, rugby. I just go where everyone was, and I tried to get along with everyone and be good at the thing we were doing. So sport was really big for me, finding an identity. Problem is I wrapped all my identity around basketball, and that was great until I decided not to do basketball, right? So 25, 23, whenever I stopped, and had to like figure out what else there is. Yeah. That was hard, but it was good because I still have that passion for it. In terms of the complete identity, it's like I'm a very big talker, love people, might be a competitive guy and a bit of an asshole when it comes to competition, but that's just how I operate.
Hella competitor.
Outside,
hella competitor.
Yeah, but outside of that, I'm like this. Like I want to be friends with everyone, but on the court or on the field, like, you know, we're going to war, right? Like, I'll shake your hand at the end of it. Like, I've never not shaken someone's hand, and I've, like, there's been times I've not wanted to, but like I have, and like so it's like my identity is in that ultra competitiveness off the court, like just friendly, want to get along with everyone. I don't want to fight. I only fight when it's fucking necessary. You know what I mean? Because sometimes words don't work, but it's never my first inclination to go. The biggest one I'm having now with identity is sort of the cultural side. So my partner, which you met Niall a couple months ago, 2 months ago. Yeah, and she's Māori, and we live in the house. They all speak Te Reo Māori. Mine's always been, I grew up white, like I might look a little brown, but I grew up white, so like my pronunciation, I was born in, if you asked me 10 years ago, where are you from? Hokitika. It's called Hoki, like, and I was one of them, you know, like, so I've been like that my whole life, and then me and Niall had this like conversation about like going, it's Hokitika, it's like it's a Māori word, and I'm like, no, but I was born there, I fought against it, and then so like, and then now I've seen how ridiculous it is, right? And then so I've come around a big time, and then I'm like, okay, well I respect that culture, and I'm part of it. Just been together for 12 years. Her dad's kind of like a dad to me. Love her mum, you know, love her nieces and nephews and all that jazz. So it's like really become part of the whānau. Like I feel that sort of thing, but then it makes me go, oh, well, what about my culture? Like I've got the white side nailed. I've got that nailed. But like, what about the black side? It's like, and then looking at it, I'm African American, and that's a bloody history that's hard to figure out. Yeah. So like, I did the ancestry, which was cool to figure out where in Africa. Yeah. But like, man, that's a long way to connect. Like, try find a Nigerian household I can go to in Christchurch that I can learn. It's quite hard. I've talked to some people I know through ball, and they're from Zimbabwe or from somewhere else, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm still learning. But I'm starting to connect the dots, starting to get a bit closer with my dad on that side. So like learning the African American side, just going to try to trace back as far as I can, because slavery kind of makes it kind of hard. But
of course,
at the same time, like I got to live the African American experience in a way, going to college over there. Like, and that's the part that really shook me a bit, was that there's maybe 2 white guys on the team, 3 white guys on the team, the rest were all black. And I thought, my people, like, we're good. And they knew I was a foreigner, like 100%. Didn't sound like them. They take the piss out of my accent. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm half you. Like, and so it was really interesting to try to figure out what my identity is. So in Christchurch, it's like I was too brown to be white, but I didn't fit in with any of the brown groups because I'm not any of them. And then I went to America and I was with my people, and I was too white to be black. And I was like, oh, well, what the hell is this? So I don't know. I'm 30 now, bro, and it's just a journey. And it's going to be, well, there's only going to be a select few people that have had a shared experience kind of like this, where you're that far removed from your actual culture that I feel like I've ticked the box on it. Like I accept where I am. And one of my best friends said it to me, and I'll never forget it. She was like, good thing is that because you've never really fitted in anywhere, you fit in everywhere. And I was like, fuck, oh, okay.
Oh, that's powerful.
So yeah, she said that to me. She might have said different words, but more or less it was like, you're kind of like a chameleon. Like you can just, like if you're with Māori people, you can go there. My best mate's Samoan, my other best mate's Filipino. I can go to all of their houses. Might not speak the language, but I can make my way because I've had to. And
that's it, bro.
I think that's what it is. That's why the podcast, I think I can get along with you people.
I love that, man. I love that. I think that identity piece is really key with any part of happiness, to be honest, or peace. Because same as me, bro. I mean, I'm fair skinned, but my cousins up in Ngāti Porou lands are brown. Very nice like you. And then Taranaki, they're all hard buggers, so they'll call me a tani. You know? But it's and I can't speak the reo. So you feel like a bit of a fraud in your own marae. And it's so multifaceted. And we refuse to acknowledge the colonial side of our upbringing too. And when you said Ancestry.com, I did the same, bro. And I went back about 9 generations. And we go all the way back to Boston. And the Hunt name actually stems from England.
Okay.
But we've also got a Scottish side when the settlers came down to Dunedin. So I actually knew where the house where my great-great-great-grandparents were in Wasgill, and it's still there. It's real weird. But it took me a lot to be able to accept that colonial side because of the trauma that was imposed upon my other side, my other bloodline. So you sort of refuse to try and take on that identity, even when you feel like a bit of a fraud within your own people. You know.
But isn't it hard when you've got like a mix? Because are you mixed? Yeah. So like. When let's just say I'm half white, half black. It's kind of like that. My white side did bad things to brown people, right? And then my black side got oppressed by the other side.
Exactly.
And it's very hard. And then when, as a collective, as a group, you know, let's say Māori people start saying people like you, hey, you're a fraud, you're a townie, or whatever. Well, that doesn't help the cause. You're almost like the orange light. Do you know what I mean? Like you're the guy that can go either way. Do you want me to come to the Māori side and start speaking to reo and incorporate me, or do you want me to just go straight white? Like, because
it's a difficult thing, man.
And I think in bringing people in, like, and the language has made so much progress in the last, like yours particularly, because you see it all around. Like, it was great. Government departments, like stadiums, schools were being named, and that's the progress that needs to happen because that's the unique part of New Zealand, like Aotearoa. It's nowhere else in the world is like it. So, like, why are we squandering that? Everywhere, like England, is better at doing the white stuff than we are. Like America does it better. Like why, like Aussie, you know, like the more you incorporate that part that makes you unique, the better it's going to be.
That's exactly it. And people come here for that. You know, for that cultural experience. And it's not necessarily about. Sometimes it feels like it, but this is all internal too. Internally, I'll feel like a fraud, but externally, from my cousins and all of those, they'll give me a bit of this and that, but you know, they know who I am. You know, but the founding document that we've got under Te Tiriti, it actually is so contentious, but it's actually so clear cut. And the fact that the central government at the time, right now, want to look at changing that is extremely tough for us. But what the beautiful thing about that is it's actually brought all Māori together. Because under Kingi Tuheitia, rest in peace, he actually tried to bring everyone together, and he actually mastered it weirdly, because he said, through peace we will only find prosperity, and through kotahitanga or togetherness will we be able to prosper together. And when you see all of these different iwi and hapu all around the country having a few squabbles internally, it actually contradicts the thing that the king wanted. And actually that our ancestors wanted. They wanted us to work together. And if you go even back before, in this, I mean, we're getting into a ramble here, but if we're going back before Te Tiriti with Te Whakaputanga, which was another document to say, hey, white fellas, you're up to no good. This is up in the far north. They're up to no good. There's lawlessness up in the far north. And Māori said, hey, you guys need to sort your own people out. So that was essentially the number one founding document for bicultural, bilateral law, which actually helped Aotearoa New Zealand become what it is today, which led into the treaty, which then led into self-determination, of which all of those articles in the treaty were breached. So there was a breach from, say, 4, 5, 6 generations back. I'm just going to do this in short, but 4, 5, 6 generations back. And now those grandchildren of those people of the Crown are saying, well, it's not us who made that decision, so why do we have to take the brunt of it?
Yep.
The fact of the matter is it's still going to be worked through, but they need to remember that it's not their grandparents that made the decision, it was the Crown, it was the government. So the government have no loins, they've got no forefathers, the government's the government. So no matter what generations come through, the governments still have to own up to the wrongs that their past governments did.
Yes, it's a faceless, like
Exactly.
entity, would you say? Yeah.
So they're trying to, people think that we're trying to blame it on the forefathers, but it's actually not the forefathers, it's the Crown itself.
It's the same thing. It's like,
So
hey,
simple.
man, if like you and me right now, and then like we got into a fight, and I punched you, and I did something wrong. Did you, right? I stole something from you.
Yeah.
Like, if I apologize for that and then give it back, like I've tried to make things correct. Until that is done, it's very hard to find peace, right?
Exactly.
And then you see from peace becomes prosperity, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, well, as long as you keep inflicting the same things, this government, right? It's not necessarily the generations that are here now, but if you don't right the wrong of that government in the first place, well, then you're going to have issues forever.
Exactly.
More or less.
I mean, when 98% of your land gets taken from you, after 40
What was
years.
it?
98% of New Zealand's land was taken.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other 2% was. Might have been the Southern Alps or something. I can't recall. But there was definitely 98% of all of New Zealand being either occupied or taken under Crown law, under Crown jurisdiction, which led to the New Zealand Land Wars and all of those other things that we don't need to go into today. But that stems what we're trying to fight with today. But the problem is now, us as Māori, we are educated, and they were educated back then, but we're also in the numbers. There's multiple levels of engagement that Māori have to the Crown now. So now they're even more accountable than ever, because there are so many Māori in power who are educated and they know what's going on, and our younger generation are being educated. We're seeing a big gap. It's a generational gap, bro, between decision making. Young people think intergenerationally. This is on average. And they think for the benefit of others. Back then, the older generation now, which are known as the boomers, are sort of more in the individualistic. What do my whānau get? Which both are okay. Both are not wrong or right. But where's the balance in between that? Because you're not going to be able to pay for your grandparents in a few years' time, because this population is getting older, and who's going to pay for it?
Younger people. Yeah.
Roads are getting older, and we're putting down debt, millions and billions of dollars worth of debt. Who's going to be paying for that? Not the old people. They're going to be dead. Yeah. Young people are going to.
And they'll actually be on pension by then.
Exactly. And we'll be paying for it.
That's it.
So that's the gap that I'm trying to fill with council. Is trying to get people to understand the intergenerational aspect, because what they want is they want this now. They don't care if they need to get debt, because they're not going to see it. But their grandkids will. My grandkids will. I might not see the win today, but my grandkids will see the win, and that's what I want to live with.
Bro, what's that saying? It's the plant a tree whose shade you don't wish to.
Yeah,
do you know that? What's that
I forgot the
saying?
words to that one.
We're gonna have to find it, bro. But
Yeah.
I remember the bro. He says it all the time, and I'm like, that's beautiful. Like, you live out your life to create a change that will benefit people, but you may never ever see it.
Yep.
And I think that's, if you can leave the world a little bit better than you found it, you've kind of done your job, bro.
That's it.
And
That's
I mean,
man.
you've gone a long way from changing people from the traffic light system to now trying to change all this, bro, which is...
Try my best, man.
That's pretty cool, man. And like, I'm wondering, like, how did that lead you? I saw today when I was looking up on you, is you've traveled around the world a little bit. It's now got you into that. So you're not just, hey, I'm down on the east side of town of Christchurch trying to, help these kids get some shoes for some basketball, to now working for council, trying to work with the community to create on new projects, But now you've left New Zealand and gone and done other stuff. It's come a long way, man.
It's crazy. So after the March 15 attack, our whānau were involved with it. We lost 2 family members in our immediate whānau. And essentially I'm Muslim, but I'm also quite proficient in the English language, which means I was able to be a spokesperson for my whānau and for some of the community for advocacy, pretty much. Peace, tolerance, coexistence was the bottom line. And after the terrorist attack, I got shoulder tapped to go and do some talks around the world. Been to the UAE, Japan, Australia, Germany. Those ones were really eye-opening for me because here I was trying to preach coexistence and tolerance and all of those things, even when I was actually hurting myself. And I was angry because I wasn't angry at the terrorist. I was angry at the idea of that terrorist, the ideas of what he believed in, where he wanted to do so much damage and hate towards one other person that he knows nothing about. That idea I just completely am disgusted by. And it took me a while to go through that grief, bro, because there were whānau that are still hurting. There was a report that came out today that 64% of the 200 families involved are still going through PTSD and sleep issues and depression. So when I hear that stuff, I don't blame the terrorist. I blame the idea of him. It got to the point where he had to enact that because he felt such a way that he had to do it. And where did that start from? That started from false information, misinformation, disinformation, and an ability to talk to another who thinks differently to you.
Yeah.
And that's what I really pushed when I went overseas. But the eye-opening bit for me, the key one for me, was actually in Germany. And when I was in Stuttgart, love that city, by the way, they took me on a tour, and I went through about 8 mosques. And they either spoke German or Turkish. The older heads spoke Turkish because they didn't adopt the German language yet.
Okay.
The younger ones spoke German with limited Turkish. So to put into context, the Turkish went over to Germany after the war, and they migrated and they went into the ghetto. Germans put them in the ghetto. They said, you're going to work in some factories. This is where you're going to live. They gave them a space to live, etc., etc. So what happened was the grandparents said, well, we're not going to live like this. We're going to create businesses. We're going to start sustaining our families, all of those things. Now Turkish Germans are extremely prevalent in high power positions. You're looking at policy, you're looking at manufacturing, particularly cars. So some of the guys that I met were high ups in BMW, Audi.
I was about to say Germans do cars well.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are engineers, lawyers, doctors. They're really high end work jobs. So that's who flew me over. So when I saw that, my eyes were open because here I was trying to spread peace, tolerance, and coexistence when white supremacists over in Germany are still throwing pigs' heads on mosques. And they're still othering the Turkish because the Turkish made little Turkeys. They called them little Istanbuls in the middle of different areas of the city.
Yeah.
But little do they know that the Germans were the ones that created that. They said, you're going to go into this one place and this is where you're going to stay. So the Turkish are like, all right, fine. They didn't get integrated. The fourth generation kids learned German, but they didn't get integrated. So what you're seeing in like Lower Hutt, Porirua, all of those things, we're doing exactly the same thing. We're chucking all of the kainga ora whānau into one spot. This is where you're going to be for the rest of your life, pretty much. Enjoy it. So the ghettos are made by decisions that policymakers create. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So this is exactly the point that I'm trying to make is the eye-opening part for me was here I was trying to spread coexistence tolerance when there's white supremacy that's alive and able. There are still Nazis in Germany, by the way, to still spread hate. So here I am saying, be nice to them, be good, listen, be compassionate, and be loving towards one another, your brother. When the other side don't want to come to the party and talk, they just want to start spreading hate and start hurting people. So that was really difficult for me to navigate when I got back, because what that put into me was we don't have an ability to listen to one another and understand what the other person's trying to say. If I bring it back to New Zealand, there was this one guy who came in to council on Zoom, and he said, I'm calling in because I'm sick and tired of these bloody Maori names everywhere. I can't understand where I'm going. What the hell is Turanga? What is that? It should be Christchurch Library. He said, I'm sick and tired of all these Maori names, and I want all of the 4 ships that we came on to be acknowledged in the middle of the cathedral square. So here he was, just, I'm the only Māori in council.
Yeah.
So everyone was looking at me like,
But
what's this guy going to do? And I looked at this guy, I was fuming inside. I was like, man, what a disgusting dude, man. And then I responded to him in Māori. I said, thank you. And I said, ngā mihi wa, and I sort of said, thanks for coming in. And then he actually made a point saying, we need rates to be 0. So I knew that I couldn't go back and forth with him on the issue of Māoridom, because it's still happening. He's not going to change it. So what's the point in talking to someone about that?
Well, you spend your whole life trying to change that one guy that doesn't even change anything.
Exactly. So what I asked him was, how do you expect to get rates down to 0? And that's where I perplexed him, because he thought that I was going to jump on that Māori thing. I said, how do you want to get rates down to 0? And he was like, and I was like, oh, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah.
But he got embarrassed in front of the whole city, because it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. But I felt real stink about it, because I embarrassed him in front of everyone.
Which wasn't your intent.
Sort of.
Well,
but
you didn't fight venom with venom.
No, exactly.
He did it to himself. It just showed.
Exactly. But the thing I wanted to think about was, hold up, why is this guy, because I needed to listen. I had an unwillingness to listen to the other stuff. I said, why is this guy coming at me like this? It's because we actually share the same values. He's worried he's going to lose his identity.
Yeah, just double checking this. No, keep going. I just always get worried that I'm not recording, bro. We're good.
I was thinking the same thing, bro. Like, he's worried he's going to lose his identity of his forefathers and their remembrance of his forefathers. Just like me. I'm worried I'm going to lose Te Reo Māori. I'm worried I'm going to lose my whakapapa. So we actually have a similar cause. It may be reversed, but now I can understand where he's coming from. And now I can try and alleviate that issue, which means that he's not going to go from orange light to red light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
So that's
been a great analogy for this conversation.
Yeah. But that's what that's sort of what it looks like. So going from Germany to here, the similarities are really clear, but it's way more extreme in Europe. It's hands down. There's no question about it. European white supremacy is rampant to the point where it's really hard to tell the Muslim community to just calm down a little bit. So they've got some really amazing leaders in their communities that actually engage with these groups and with the government. But because of the far-right politicians that are coming from Europe, it's becoming extremely difficult for the Muslims to be able to say, hey, something's not right here. So now they're having to get people into power. They're having to get people into government to be able to assist them, because essentially that's how the world works, man. Capitalism and democracy at power, right? Man.
And we're always fighting the enemy, the other side, and it's just, I think you highlighted a good point where you talked about how it's like the terrorist that did the attack here on the mosque, you hated the idea of him, like his reasonings, and it all came from obviously misinformation, probably parents, probably background, probably his little echo chamber of hate that hated towards a certain demographic of people. And if he could have just had a conversation with someone on the other side, like maybe you, who, you're Muslim as well, right? Yeah. And so like sit down and you guys can have a coffee, like not, that sounds crazy, but like pre-attack, and he gets to hear the other side. That's the seed. And then he meets another couple of Muslim people, maybe eats some food, starts going, oh, they're all right. And then, terrorist attack deterred. And it's like, that's a small, like something small like that can, and especially when you talk like that might have been put into him at an age of 10 through to, high school, and he would have got angry at all the dark people in school, whatever it was. And it's like, if you would have just had the right dark person come along at the right time, or like one teacher just pull him aside and say, hey, everyone's actually beautiful, you don't have to go kill them. Like, he might have changed. And
exactly.
I think that point you made about like not being able to talk to the other side would have helped the councillor that had that issue with you. If he would have had a Māori friend along the, like, I talked to my father-in-law, he's 80, and he's Māori, and he had a friend, he was born in the 40s, so he had the whole racist shit all the way through his life, but he had a friend across the road, and he used to like call them bloody Mary, da da da. But they were friends, and they could sit down, and he would have a chance to speak back, and they were able to go back. So like, even though there might have still been, you're not allowed to be racist, but like, you can, if you've got the right,
safe space,
if it's a safe space and everyone understands, man, I know, like it doesn't, it's, you know, the sword, it's a blunt sword. It doesn't hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you guys, and you are talking respectfully, still from two different points, but that's better than what we're doing, you know? So like, and I think you can always you can solve pretty much the world's problems sitting down in a coffee shop, bro. Like, I swear to God.
100%.
Like, how many times have you sat down
Shout
outside
out
of
Coffee Embassy, by the way.
Coffee Embassy, love them, sugar, man. What was I gonna say though, is that like, in council, like you could come to our food truck, like you have, and then like we could sit there and we could talk about the issue you had today, and I bet you we could probably solve it. However, like as soon as you go back in that room, you can't. So it's just crazy, man. Exactly. You got to be able to talk to people with different ideas, and then kind of come together where it benefits all at the expense of none.
Yep, exactly. And I think the last point of that is ego is a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, with decision makers especially, I think I was raised on having principles and morals and ethics that my mum and dad imbued into me. But with other elected members and politicians, they believe the old way is the right way. The old way is showboating and saying, we did this, we did that, the old government are rubbish. Yeah. I don't care who gets the clout for it, as long as it's the right thing. Yeah, because I want to be able to go to bed at night. But ego is the number one deterrent for any development or way forward. 100%. No question. And even basketball. I mean,
oh, for sure.
You know, some guys don't want to pass some guys, right? You know, I'm better than this dude. I'm not going to pass him. Even though his job could be easier if you passed it back. You know.
I feel you, man.
But yeah, I dealt with some egos in basketball too. But I think that's what sort of helped me with decision making too. Being a coach, I mean, it's a lot easier to make decisions when I know that it's the right thing to do. And sometimes I won't. That's why I'll rely on my athletes to be able to provide me advice and say, hey, is this play working? How's it feel? And that actually, all that lived experience that I had through coaching, running businesses, being in the community, all helped me come into this really weird, I guess, mountaintop of council, I guess. Yeah.
But I think it's a beautiful way to come into council, rather than someone that goes, hey, I want to be in council because I want to make change, because I want to. All I hear is I. Yeah. It's like, I was doing this, and this because they were my passions, and then I saw the issue. Now I want to be in a position to help see the issue, to help other people. It's not about you. And it's like, the funny thing is when you try to make things about me, like, I won this award, I did that, I was a top scorer, I was this. People won't talk about you, but when you don't aim for that, people will talk about you and what you did. And it's like, people understand the more you want something, the less likely you're going to, especially if it's full self. Like, you've always got to look outside. And that's actually where the biggest reward is. But you have to have that or have experienced that to realize it.
Exactly. Man.
And most people haven't. And I think traveling the world and seeing other places, like going from basketball to business to council, different jobs, and seeing different people, you learn heaps. Like I was all basketball, and I never really left the country until I went to America. And I went to America a couple different times. You know, I made it down to Mexico. We went to Vietnam. Just got back from Thailand this year.
Crazy.
So like, and I still haven't seen any of the countries I want to see. Like, I've seen them, but that 100% opened my eyes. And even traveling just from Christchurch and going up to, Mrs. is from Te Teko in Bay of Plenty. Oh, so small little old Texas. Yeah. So real rugged out there. You go there.
Horseback and all that.
She used to ride. She told me stories. She would ride horses to school. Like, and you know how you'd park your scooter up. She'd park up, and I'm like, that's wild. Because like, I met her down here, you know, at 17, and then she's telling me about her childhood, which was what, like 7 years before that. I'm catching the bus, we're riding a bike, and she's riding a horse, and we live in the same country, and we're together. We still have a business together now, and it's like, isn't that insane? Like, completely different.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, man. Exactly. But it's cool. Like, it's really cool. Like, my experience was great. Neither was better. Well, I'd say horseback was probably better, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not about that. It's just, hey, that's yours. That's cool.
100%.
Yeah, man. And you need to leave your neck of the woods to see that things can be done differently, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if I wouldn't have had some of the friends that I've had over the years, or even the people that I might not have got along with, but now in hindsight, I can look at that situation and go, oh, I played a part. He wasn't actually that much of an asshole. I refused to change. I've had
Hey.
that. Oh man, I've had.
Hey,
Yeah, I've my eyes been opened.
that's massive, man.
Humbled a few times in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
And it's still not perfect, man. I'll still make mistakes, but I'm able to like the reflection on that and the making things right are a lot shorter and quicker. And sometimes now I can avoid them by just not all opinions need to be shared.
Difficult, man. Yeah.
So
That's the hard part.
oh,
I
sure,
mean, your
man.
growth is a beautiful thing to see. You know, it's
Oh.
crazy seeing us grow up, and we're all doing different things, and some of us are staying in the same space, but you know, it's so beautiful seeing your growth, especially your entrepreneurship and the way that you're doing content is a lot different to what a lot of people do.
Thanks, bro.
It's awesome, man. It's
Well,
what
it's just authentic, bro. Like,
Yeah.
me and Niall are two different people, as I said. Like, she's rugged from up north. Like, they speak Te Reo in the house. And I grew up how I grew up. And we've come together. And instead of like going, hey, we need to be a clear-cut business, we need to dress a certain way, I wear basketball shorts in the food truck. I mean, I'm wearing a hat. I don't care if I'm sitting down at a table. I got no socks on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just me. And then like Niall's herself. And we just blend that together into whatever it is. And with whatever passions, that's how we make content, bro. And I think if people are just more themselves, it'd be a lot more interesting.
That's it. That's it.
Like,
And that's what you're going to be, man. People can see through bullshit, eh? Like,
yeah.
and then they'll just avoid you, or they won't want to be near you, or they'll try and use you. I mean, I've seen that before.
Oh yeah.
Within council.
To get what they want.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a pawn I could use.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, Bishop over here.
That's it. That's a beautiful thing, man. And I can see it. And opposites attract too. Like my wife's different too. She's complete opposite, actually. Dead set opposite.
Yeah.
She's black and white, and I work in the greys, you know. And I love that because she builds me up. And the whole reason me being here is because of her, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Bro, I started off at 17, you know, as a landscaper. I worked my way up the ladder. She goes, Tyla, I want you to go back to uni because I bailed uni pretty much. And I had a lot of debt, had all of these, you know, really bad things. I actually flunked out of school too, bro. I didn't even get UE.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know. I did year 14 too. No one knows this. This is the first.
Okay, hey,
So
two
I
year
went to Hagley,
14s right here. I heard year 14 too.
Went to Hagley, did pretty good at basketball.
Bit of a nice shot on you.
Yeah,
Did you have Nopsy as well?
Nopsy was my guy, yeah.
Oh,
And the best coach we've had.
Agreed.
And then I still didn't crack UE, even with all those sports credits. And then that's why I went into personal training, because I went to Otago and thought, oh, this is all I can do. But I ended up loving personal training. But I still failed it, bro. It was a certificate. It's because I was too busy trying to make it in the league. And I would just skip school, wouldn't study. I didn't know what studying was.
But you know how to get up a few jump shots. Eh?
Yeah, I knew how to shoot, yeah. And and then I failed that and then went into landscaping. And then from there, Saba, my wife now, we've known each other for 17 years now.
Damn.
It's crazy. And she said, you can be better than this. So I went back at 22. This is during my business stuff too. Went back at 22, finished my postgrad in strength and conditioning and performance analysis, and started doing some internship for High Performance New Zealand and all those things. And then that's what stemmed the crossover coach stuff, because I had all that knowledge under me. Had a bit of coin, but I, at the time, wasn't paying my tax, so I didn't know what tax was. You know, you learn so many things.
Don't let the council know.
Yeah. And you learn so many things, man. It's like crazy how, like business, you'll know this.
Yeah.
You get popped up with something new. It's like, oh, that's new. Shit. Oh, I need to divert or find something new.
Yeah.
Find a new lane. And that's what you do, eh?
Well, it's like you kind of like flow like water, bro. Like as soon as like let's say you're a stream, hey, here's a new rule. You don't just go, oh, that's a wall, I can't get around it. You just flow around it.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
find a new way. Like
I love that.
You've got to, bro. Like otherwise, your thing stops, and if it's your own business, it stops and dies with you.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to come and pick it up for you. So you got to like pick up the pieces and move forward.
Exactly.
Oh man.
And you need to know, I think, with business, you need to know when to stop too. Or not when to stop, but when to evolve.
Also, you need to know like why do I need to like. I think a lot of people like, and I love majority of people. It's the same probably as you. Like I like a lot of people in my said industry, but there's some people that I know their why and what they're doing. It's money normally, and it's like gain, and I don't think that should be the driver. And if it ever becomes money, because you obviously got to put food on the table, you want to have like if you're working hard, you should be able to have some rewards for it. I agree with that. But if that's the sole thing, is so that I can buy a Tesla and I can have 4 houses, and that's why you're working so hard with whatever product you've brought to the market, I think you should just maybe reanalyze, and maybe you could be a great part of that, but maybe you should bring in someone that cares about
Yeah.
it. And like basketball, team sport, I love looking at it like that. It's a good life lesson. Is like, that's fine if that's you should be head of accounting for that business. But you should bring in some other people to fill in the spaces that you don't necessarily have.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. I think the why has to be like you sleep well at night knowing that you're getting paid for a job that you know you're doing for the right reason.
Yeah.
It's not like you're the person cutting off water to low-income houses. Do you know what I mean? Like, where are you? Shit like that. So it's just like, you've got me. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Well, we got into basketball a bit earlier than I thought we would. I feel like I missed that time of you. Well, if you were down in Dunedin, that's probably why. And you're 2 years older than me. So I would have probably been not here in Christchurch while you were doing all that. Because I remember when you popped off with the basketball and you went to coach, because you came back and even coached high school teams and stuff. Yeah, and I feel like I missed some of that, but Canterbury basketball, you see each other all the time. We were still hooping and stuff. So, I didn't know all of that journey that you had. Yeah. The New Zealand's first Drew Hanlon, eh?
Trying.
Yeah.
But at the time it was a really new market because no one knew how to crack it financially. And actually I was able to use Te Pūtahitanga, who are amazing.
Did you use them as well? Oh,
they helped pay my salary so I can go into lower decile schools to be able to deliver workshops and classes for free.
Man.
And they said, Tyler, you've got to be sustainable. This is a crazy one. Tyler, you've got to be more sustainable. You can't just keep asking for money. I was like, all right, sweet. How am I going to do this then? So then I charged out for my work. Group classes were the bread maker. 30 kids will pay $5 a session. I'll probably do 8 sessions a week. Do the math. That paid for my salary because I knew that professional athletes or semi-pro athletes had no money. They're broke, bro. But what they did was they helped provide me content to get the classes to come to me because they're like, yo, he's worked with blah, 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 blah. So I utilized that business, but I created a model called the Robin Hood model. Okay. Sort of like, what Robin Hood used to do was take from the rich to give to the poor. So what I'd do is I'd tick up, say, private schools, for example. So St. Andrews, Christ College, etc. I'd tick them up for me to be able to go to, say, a lower decile school in the east or the west and be able to provide them shoes, basketballs, gear for them to keep, not for them to borrow. So after the 10-week session with the schools, I'd say, here's your ball bag, here's your shoes. Thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate it. And they'd remember that because I remember seeing one kid 3 years later wearing the same pair of shoes that his brother had that are worn out, but they were the ones that I gave him. And I saw them walk past. I was like, yo, he's wearing this shit. Okay. And there were some really generous people. People don't realize how generous private schools are because their kids would wear a pair of shoes and go, Mum, I don't like it. But they can't take them back because they've worn them in. So the parents would go to me, hey, Tyler, my son doesn't want these shoes. Would anyone fit size 13s? I go, yeah, there's a 10-year-old kid in the West that will fit those. Samoan kids are really hard to buy for at that age. They're growing, all of those things. So ended up giving around 100 pairs of shoes. Oh, God knows how many basketballs. Hundreds of basketballs.
Did you take one of mine?
Probably. But it was crazy. So that was a model that worked for me in terms of my business. But,
I love that idea, bro, because Jamie Graham, obviously. In Canterbury basketball,
I love that guy.
There's Jamie Graham and there's Dave Langrell, right? Like pretty much any social basketball, there's those guys, and even weekend stuff.
The duopoly.
But they need to exist for this sport to grow, and it has grown so much since we first picked up a ball here. So it's like, I remember hearing back in the day, it was 50 kids would show up to a Canterbury trial. Now they have 300 or 400, and they can't even fit them in the gym. That's epic. That's great because basketball's such a great sport. And if you have good teachers, you can learn a lot about life.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
And but the sad thing is, this is one big issue that I have that I think we're probably going to connect on is that I hate the cost of entry. That shit fucks me off, bro. Is that I remember I was under 19s and I'd played Canterbury basketball all the way up to that point. Seen A team every year, bottom age group, top age group, just same rigmarole, right? And the amount of kids I've seen try to come in during that time. But we had a tournament in Palmerston North. Obviously it makes sense, $500 to go up because you got accommodation for a week, food, flights. And then you'd see top 3 player on the team
Yeah.
not be able to come because he's from Papua Nui or wherever else we want to say. And it's just like, and then you see him next year, he's not back.
Yep.
Year after, he's not back. And now you're an adult and you're playing basketball and you're like, whatever happened to that guy? Because he was better than me at basketball.
Heaps of those
And
dudes,
like,
man.
I've seen it so many times, and I talk to Jamie about it a bit because I see him every Wednesday. And that like kind of actually really bothers me. And Canterbury Basketball, I understand it's growing it out, but it is a business too.
Yep.
And so they've got to make money. But I don't think a hoop, a ball, and some lines on a piece of concrete or a court, that shouldn't be free.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason it shouldn't be free.
Yeah.
Like, and all it takes is a few people giving their time back to do a lot of good. And case in point, the midnight basketball, everything else like that. And that's one area I really want to like change going forward.
Yeah,
So me and Niall sponsored our Div 1 basketball team. We used to be a social basketball team. We have been for like a decade, and now we play Div 1. And because you know what it's like, you get to this sort of age, like in your 30s, and you stop playing ball. And ball's just like more than it's exercise. It gets you out of the house if you've had a shit day. It's that release. You can go on for 60 minutes. I can be an asshole on the court and let it all out.
Yep.
And then afterwards I can come home refreshed, like whatever it is. Like, and then also like it's just community. Like it's a group of friends. And as you get older, your best mates, you don't see them as often. So if you have this one game a week, I think it's really important, even for adults like our age, to enjoy that. So we try to sponsor that. And as we get on, I want to make it like, I want to pay for the whole subs. And then eventually I want to like make younger teams. And like, dude, if I ever got given $1 billion, no one in Christchurch would play for basketball. Ever. Like you shouldn't pay. Like, because the amount of guys that like, what is it for Prems now? You play a 12-week competition and you're paying $350.
Yeah.
What if the 20-year-old has 2 kids already and has to work a job?
Exactly.
And like, how do they afford to pay? And then what happens if they don't play basketball? Oh, they stay at home and drink, or they stay at home and gamble because they're competitive, or like, what does that lead to? Because they can't do the one thing because the cost's too high. I can't do
and I
it.
think that's the crazy part, because if you go off the rugby model, the junior clubs, a lot of them in rugby get it for free in the country. And sometimes the junior clubs, their money will offset the senior rugby subs.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. They've got a heavy amount of sponsorship from local builders, etc., etc.
Yeah.
When I think there's a big market for more sponsorship from Canterbury Basketball to reach out to those establishments. Like, I do think that the Rands are eating up a lot of the sponsorship money. BD Construction, all of those different joints are all jumping on because they need something at the front of the thing. Lincoln University are sponsoring them, obviously, with naming rights and things like that. But there's so much more opportunity for that in that space. But the other side to that too is council are charging an abominable amount for upkeep and maintenance.
And also for the gyms.
Because they write court fees, right? I mean, who wants to use the court on a Saturday if it's not a basketball club? You know, it's crazy, bro. Like,
it shouldn't cost. I'm sorry, it shouldn't cost. Like the fact that, you know, you've got Cowes, you've got Graham Condon, you've got Pioneer. What else we got? We've got the new stadium going in town, right? And it's like, none of those, it should be these associated, like, you know, Canterbury Basketball Association, what else is played indoor? Futsal, volleyball. Why are they paying? You know, this is education in a way for youth, all the way through till, I mean, you have masters, don't you? So, I mean, do you know how much good you're doing? And do you really need the $50 an hour for a court? Like, no, I don't think so.
Exactly. And what they're doing is they're using that to offset maintenance costs, power, whatever. But, you know, facilities are really expensive. But do you know what the most expensive thing in a facility is? The pool. The pool is the most expensive thing in any facility in the city, because even though they still don't make money, the gyms make the money to offset for the pool costs. So even though you're getting the whole facility, the courts and the weightlifting rooms, the gyms, pay for the maintenance costs of the pool itself, because the pool makes no money because of the power, the water you're going to push,
the chemicals, everything you got to do. Yeah, staffing the lifeguard.
Which is crazy, because why should a basketball club have to offset the pool costs?
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're wrapping it into a full facility. It's crazy stuff.
And I guess you claim the losses from the pool, and then
because they put it under facility cost, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Where rugby clubs pay $150, which includes a full kit, because all you got to do is
you have to keep the kit
on. Put some.
Have you ever kept a club kit?
I have, bro.
Club kit. Oh,
club kit. Oh, I tried to.
You've taken a clip. You've taken a kit.
It's easy being a coach, but
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
but when
Oh,
I was playing, I get to keep some of the kit. That was dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not the same. Like, and I've talked to people about how, because it is pretty one-sided in this country, right? You've got rugby, netball, cricket,
Yeah.
more or less, pretty much all of it, and they get, I don't know what the percentages are. You'd probably know more.
Rugby, dying sport. Netball, slowly growing sport. Football, really strong sport. Cricket.
Did you say football? It's still the biggest sport in the world, right?
Yeah.
We get to realise that.
Yeah, still the biggest sport in the world, and it's number 2 in school sports behind basketball for the fastest growing sport.
Yeah. Is that across the world? Or
Football
New
and
Zealand?
basketball, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Football and basketball are the 2 number 1 sports.
And how much funding do they get compared to rugby and netball?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'd love to put a percentile out there, but
It's ridiculous, though.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, you have, obviously, it's interest that's shown by the number of people playing these sports and the new initiatives starting up around them. Yet government doesn't get behind them because, kind of the conversation we were having earlier, the people making decisions aren't the ones necessarily.
It's the old
living it.
boys club, bro.
Yeah. Like, we still think the All Blacks are winning World Cups.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Argentina can give us a good go over at some point.
Well, they got us today.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Japan scored the first try last weekend.
Exactly.
So give them a couple of years.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude. So we've gone everywhere. Man. We've gone council. We've gone basketball. We've gone everywhere else. Well, before I get into the final questions, man, I just want to ask you. We've been talking about change and what you've wanted to do across there. You're at this point in your career. What's sort of the one change let's say your dream change you want to make in the world or locally? What's that for you?
And it sounds so corny though, bro. I mean, but I've been really involved with this Palestinian movement stuff and injustice. And collective punishment is never the answer for anything. No matter where it is, who it is, what it is. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, it doesn't matter. There should always be peace and there should always be prosperity and the ability for every culture to express themselves in any way they want. So before I die, I would love to see a world where every culture, every tribe get along with each other and understand their differences while also having differences. Because if you're one person, right, you should never actually try and get another person to be you. It's called assimilation, and that's what happened in the Western world, which we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I'm allergic to anything that has regard to we are one, we are all one people, rah, rah, rah. Yeah, there is aspects to it that I agree with, but at the end point, we are all different, and I think that's the beauty of the world, because there's a saying that Allah made us to be different so that we could learn of one another, and that's what Muhammad, the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to say, that we're all created as different tribes to be able to learn of one another and grow. I mean, I don't see a world where that can't happen. I mean, if the powers that be continue to do that, I think it's just going to get worse and worse. But I'm really optimistic with this new generation coming through, man. They're the best of us. They're so intelligent, they're so smart, they're so technologically advanced, they're so awake, they're so aware of the things around them. And the thing that I'm seeing mostly with policy in particular and government policy and things like that is people are calling others woke, they're woke left and, they're woke. Yeah. But the funny thing is they're actually more sensitive, more caring, more giving, more loving. It's not being woke, it's just being a nice person. How hard is it to be a nice person, man? Yeah. And the fact that we've got to create policies to say, hey, you need to be a nice person. We've got to create a law to say you've got to be nice. Yeah. That's crazy, bro. Yeah. And that's, that's the interesting part for me. But no matter where I am, whether I run, I don't know if I will or not, but run central government or do some other businesses that help the world, I'm not sure where I want to go yet. There's a tech business I'm interested in at the moment. But whichever way it goes, I always just want it to help people and bring everyone on the waka, not just one person or one people, because that actually builds and advances the world with everything.
I think it's beautiful, bro, because like the togetherness of it all, we're just so much better together. Yeah. There's a saying, and it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. So that can be singular, or you can be talking about a group of people. Yeah, you can advance your little group or your whatever really fast. But if you want to go far, you got to go together, bro. Like, and I think us as a human race, especially with all the issues that we faced, instead of going like, oh, this person did us wrong, or this group of people did us wrong, we got to get them back. How about, yep, you did us wrong. Let's accept that, but let's understand how not to do that again to either one of us. Cool, that's established. Now what can we do to fix the people that have been affected? And then we move, like it's very hard, but I think I'd say from like our generation, like millennials on, I think obviously with the incorporation of the internet, education's changed. There's a lot like, what do they call it? It's like liberal arts. Is that when people go and learn different things? It's not the hard sciences.
Yeah.
I think there's more discussions that our parents, or maybe not your parents, but like our parents and the generations before never talked about their feelings, never talked about different things, because it was, I worked at this factory for 40 years and this is what my grandfather did, you know.
That's my old man.
And it's like, And so I was wondering, it's for most people, you know what I mean? Like, and they're proud, 30 years, 50 years dedicated to one effort. But what if that effort actually was hurting a group of people? Well, could you do that better and then bring them with you? And I think we'll start seeing that as younger people like yourself get into positions of power, bro.
And I think you're right about that money thing, you know. I think people get so clouded and their judgment gets clouded by the thought of money. And essentially, war makes money. And capitalism actually, it makes money for those that are in power already. And there is no spreading of wealth of the bottom. I'm not being a socialist here or some commie or anything. All I'm saying is it's unfair that a young Māori, Pasifika, Asian, Pākehā family should stay at the bottom because that's what they were born into.
Yeah.
They should always be provided opportunities to be able to uplift themselves. And that is the very reason why there is Māori scholarships, because Māori were actually not allowed to go to university or be in school or speak their language, which means there needs to be reparation, which is why there's Māori scholarships. People don't understand the concept of the reason why there's Māori scholarships.
And funding.
Exactly.
And then they go, oh, these bloody Māoris get this.
Exactly.
That's the least. Are you still living on that land? Oh, wow.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And the last thing I want to say is, you could be, the problem with the progressive left, I'm talking about politics here, the progressive left is they're usually right, but they're not very effective. The far right are usually wrong, but very effective.
Yeah.
So the question that lies is, if you want to be in the middle, and if the question lies is, how can you be right and be effective? Because you could be right and righteous and stand for justice and peace, but provide no effect to change in the world. When the far right are getting themselves into positions of power, like the government, I'd call them far right, where they're able to make sustainable change. Imagine getting a minority vote of whatever it was, 8% of the whole country, and changing the whole country with 8%. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what they did. So they can be wrong and effective. So we need to figure out, as a people, together, everyone in the middle, figure out how can we be right and effective and make long-standing change for intergenerational well-being and equity. Yes. That's probably where I
think it's a pretty good change, bro.
Yeah.
And not corny, man. I think that's great. Anyway, we'll go on to final questions, bro. I don't know what to call them yet, but the 3 questions for you. A little lighter than what we've been talking about.
Love it.
First one, man, because big foodie here. What's your favourite food or favourite dish?
Ooh, great question.
Yes.
My mother-in-law's parata.
Okay.
It's like a crispy naan.
Yeah.
And she has it with just homemade omelette, but she'll have like dal, or she'll have some palau.
Yeah.
She's Pakistani.
Because it's a dipping bread, right? Or is it not?
It can be.
Yeah.
In the Southeast Asia, it's a dipping bread, but for Pakistan, it's like a naan, but a breakfast. It's a breakfast naan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I gave you a birria tacos a go.
Yeah.
You
like birria tacos?
Yeah, big fan, man.
Okay.
Big fan.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think, but you got the family recipe there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something about, okay, so food. You can go out like there's best food. You know, like this is the best quality. You line them up in a row. That's the best. However, I think how you consume that food matters. Like a hot dog. You get a hot dog and we're sitting at a cafe. It doesn't taste that great. But you give me a hot dog after a game of rugby on like a Sunday morning. Like, do you know what I mean? It tastes better. Like, it might be a shitted hot dog, but it's better. So like, and yours, it's in-laws making you homemade, like authentic food. Well, that's going to taste better than like going to a place that sells it.
100%. She could sell it, man. Honestly, it's that good.
Yeah.
But it's a family tradition, family ingredient. It's on, bro.
Yeah. Fucking my father-in-law, bro, he bakes bread. He's got one of those camp ovens. I don't think he knows the recipe, honestly. Like sometimes
Different every time?
yeah, different every time, but like he tries. Sometimes it's got like a hard crust, sometimes it doesn't. He talks about what he wants it to come out like, but I can't say it comes out the same. However, when he brings it out, half the bread's gone within, I don't know, butter, maple syrup, whatever, jam. Like sometimes you make a sandwich, and like it's epic.
Classic.
And like obviously if you go to like a bakery, like like what's I don't know, like Bellbird or Grizzlies or something, they probably have better bread. But I eat it at home in front of a fireplace with golden syrup and butter, because that's vegan butter obviously, but whatever we've got, and I reckon it's better.
Yeah.
It's probably not, but it is.
Sounds on. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I do miss that from then. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, bro. Yeah. Second one, man, you've travelled a bit, and I like to think I've done a little. Favourite place you've ever been to?
Oh, Japan. Hands down.
Oh, bro. No, dumb high five up top. Dumb high five up top. Love it.
My God.
Why?
Tokyo and Osaka were amazing.
Yeah.
But the mix of it's just so safe.
Yes.
And the liveliness of the city, and how well designed it is.
Yeah.
The lights, the food, phenomenal, and actually the history. I love history.
But the culture's there. Like it's not a whitewashed history. It's the history. Like all history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even learning about the clans and the temples.
Yeah.
I just watched Shogun.
I was about to say Shogun. Yeah.
Freaking it's the best show I've ever watched.
Yeah, it's good.
So good.
Yeah.
But it's I just love the Japanese culture, man. I'd love to live there one day.
You let me know when, bro, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. The showers are tiny for me though, bro. So we're gonna have to figure out,
we'll
just get big bathrooms.
Get two and just
big Western bathrooms.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah. So I take it that's yours?
Hey, Japan. I've never been, so I really want to go. I didn't realize. Like I watched. You remember what it's like growing up in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
You get home from school, Dragon Ball Z's on, whatever's on. So like Yu-Gi-Oh. We all took the cards to school, Pokemon. So I've loved anime my whole life. And I didn't think I realized until I got an adult. I was like, I fucking still love it. And then I'm not like the classic, I need to just go so I can go to all the anime conventions and stuff. But I realized I watched this one movie, it's called Suzumi, and she lives in a small little town with just a lake. And just the way they animated it, and they walked beside empty railway tracks. And I was just like, I'd love to just go to a small shitty town, and because I love small shit towns, because they're not shit, they're great. Hokitika, small town, but it's dope. Because it's it's got something about it. It's got
100%.
And it's got the local one place you can eat. Yep. Do you know what I mean? So I'd love to just go into a little ramen shop, bro, and just sit there, or get some sushi, or get sip on some sake, and just sit in a place that's not fancy, not the best, but it's real.
Yep.
So that's what I want for Japan, and then obviously the anime side. Transport would be dope. There's just seeing how efficient it is, because I've been to New York and seeing, dude, we were in Harlem. Every 5 minutes there was something that could take me down to Grand Central. Grand Central? Anyway, Midtown, and then I could catch that across to Brooklyn. I could be in Brooklyn in 15 minutes, or something ridiculous. Yeah. And it's New York. There's not any space. And then we rented the city bikes. And so anytime we'd get off, we'd just get to the neighborhood we want to be in, and we'd just bike around. It's like lime scooters. And we paid we were there for 5 days between me and the missus. We paid about $100 American, and we went everywhere and it took us, it was faster than car because there's traffic. That's what happens when
my wife wants to go. Straight up. She wants to go to New York.
Bro, I've rated it. I've rated New York. It's epic. Hey. Apparently you can eat at, let's say you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 3 different restaurants a day. It takes something like 8 or 10 years to eat everywhere. That's how many different places there are in New York.
Wow.
And it's so New York City is bang.
Yeah, from what you see on TV, right?
Yeah. But then you've got but as the other part, they've got Chinatown. They've got predominantly black neighborhoods. They've got upper west side, upper east side. I think it's mostly Latino culture. And you've got your authentic people there that have been there. You got Italians. So it's a beautiful mix of this. You know what I mean? And New York's dope. You'll like New York, man. If you don't mind people,
that sounds awesome.
You'll be sweet.
Yeah.
But I got to do Japan. It sounds like we've just got to do each other's opposites.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I did love the US actually. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I was on the West Coast mostly though.
Where'd you go? LA.
Oh, bro, I've got a crazy story though.
Go.
Oh man. So I was in LA.
Yeah.
And this is a crazy story. So I was in LA, and there was a old Clippers development coach, Dave Severance, who came over to Christchurch.
Okay.
He was the head development coach for the Clippers. Yeah. And so I messaged him. I said, hey, coach, I'm in LA for a wee bit. I'd love to catch up with you. He goes, cool. What are you up to? I said, oh, we're going to go to the Blazers game, and then we don't know what we're up to. He goes, cool, come meet me courtside. So I went into Staples Center, bro, with my wife, and I was like,
is it sitting in the like nosebleeds? Or
yeah, it was like middle tier, $500 ticket sort of thing.
So you paid a little bit extra, but you still don't get.
I was like a fangirl, bro. I'm a massive Clippers fan.
Oh, we should have gone on that conversation.
So we're in the middle of Staples Center, and I said, yeah, I'm here, coach. And he goes, cool, come courtside. And I was like, where's courtside? I'm like, what the heck? He goes, no, on the court. So I walked down and went to security. Security didn't let me in. He said, he waved to security through. Put me onto court. Wow. Right in front of me, bro, I was watching the Blazers. Damian Lillard was just shooting right in front of me from me to you away.
Just wondering what year, just so I can just get the grasp of it, because I know.
2019?
Okay. Kawhi and PG at Clippers?
Yep.
Dame's just knocked my team out of the fucking thing with the best 3-point shot ever shot.
Potentially.
To get rid of OKC.
Potentially.
Probably the year after.
Yeah. Yeah, PG and Kawhi were there, yeah. And, Damian Lillard was me from media away. Just warming up. And I've never seen a stroke as clean as his in my life. Yeah. And then Pau Gasol was there his last year. And
wait, hold on, where did he play?
Blazers.
He played Blazers?
Yeah.
Wow.
His last year.
Shows you how that's changed.
I know. So he was there warming up. I was like, whoa, legend right here. Yeah. Look at all these guys. And then Dave was sitting next to me and he goes, what do you want to do this week? I said, I'm just hanging around. I just wanted to see what you're up to. He goes, all right, tomorrow. Do you want to come to the Clippers training facility, and see the guys? And I'll show you around. It'd be really cool. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, sure. Sounds good. Sounds dope.
Did you keep it like composed?
Tried my best. And then he goes, cool. What are you doing on Friday? I said, nothing. And he goes, cool. I've got some tickets for you for the Raptors game. We've got some really good seats. Mm-hmm. They'll be waiting for you at the front. I was like, coach, you need to chill out. And he goes, no, I'm serious. And then he said, what are you doing that night? I said, nothing. He goes, cool, because I've got some assistant coaches from the Celtics and the Mavs coming with their wives. We'd love for you and your wife to hang out with us, have dinner with us.
One of those assistant coaches from Boston probably are the coach now.
It was crazy. So I was like, all right, then sweet, sounds good. Then he goes, what are you doing on Sunday? I said, nothing. He goes, cool. I've got a coaching session with the top D1 coaches. We're running through some 5-out stuff. Jeez. Love for you to come. It's like, coach, man, like, this is way too much. He goes, man, you need to shush. You need to be quiet. And I want you to hear what else I've got. And I was like, what the heck is happening right now?
Jeez.
So then he goes, afterwards we've got something for you at Manhattan Beach. And Manhattan is in LA, California. That's where he lives. And he goes, just let you know, you may see some celebrities here and there, but they usually come to Manhattan because there's no one there. Like, cool, sounds good. He goes, I know you're Kiwi, so there's a fish and chip shop there, a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I go, cool. So we got there, bro. And we saw this, like, two black dudes rocking up towards us. African-American dudes, one short dude, had a hood on, ripped jeans. He was getting closer and closer, bro. And it was Kendrick Lamar, bro. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's Kendrick Lamar in a freaking fish and chip restaurant?
Yeah.
So he was just there with one of those guys, and he sat in the booth right next to us. And I was like, that's Kendrick Lamar, it's K-Dot. It's K-Dot. Yeah. It's like, where? I was like, shh, shush, man. Yeah. He's right behind us. And I didn't want to be that dude that asked for a signature or a photo because I knew he was just chilling out with his mate. And she was like, just ask him. I was like, nah.
He would have loved that there was a Kiwi.
Crazy. I wish I did it, bro. Honestly, I wish I did it. But then I just don't want to be that dude that pesters him, He probably gets it all the time. Kiwis, we think like that, right?
Yeah.
And then, but that was crazy week. So this dude just spoiled me rotten, man. Went around the Clippers facility. They talked to me about a job, internship. Yeah. The pay was crap. Insurance.
Fuck, who cares? Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
You made it to the league, bro.
I know.
No.
It was I went and I walked into the film room. Yeah. That's where I would have been.
Yeah.
And I saw all of these like gremlins on the laptop looking at the film from the last night's game. And they turned and looked at me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It was like a black room. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna. I don't care how much I get paid. I'm not doing that. Yeah. And then the G League guys were training, and they were not that good. Like the Clippers G League team at the time, they didn't look that good. I was watching them train. It was just like watching Lincoln Uni train, bro.
So you thought about putting your shoes on, being like,
bro,
G League it is.
And that head coach of the G League was, he started in the film room.
Oh,
So they actually push guys through. But I saw Montrezl Harrell and stuff. Yeah.
did he rip a hoop off? Because it's normally when he does.
Yeah. He was in there. There's a couple of other guys in there. But it was just an amazing experience, man. But there's so many cool things that happened in LA. And no matter what you say here about Americans in New Zealand, there were some really amazing people in high up positions that just will go above and beyond for you. And Dave Severance will always have my heart. He stopped coaching now. He goes around the world, does NBA camp things, but amazing man. Yeah. So sorry.
No, you're all right.
That was a crazy story, bro.
So you went to LA kind of with flexible plans, and then you just got that.
Yeah, I actually wanted to go to the Marlborough Academy too. That was a part of the plan. And Saba, she likes Kardashians, so she wanted to go to Calabasas, see what that looks like.
Yeah.
You know, do the LA things.
Yeah.
Go to Melrose Place, and
you're like, I'll do you one better. We're doing all this.
So I went to train with JaVale McGee's skills trainer.
Okay.
Great dude too, at the Marlborough Academy. And as soon as I walked in, bro, this is before Kobe died. This is when I walked in, bro. I just started weeping. I was like, my hero stood where I stood. It was just crazy.
I don't cry, but I reckon being like, I'm fucking lucky I haven't been on Staples Center. Like, I haven't been on the court. I've been to Staples Center, like, watch games. I don't know what it'd be like. My mate, we went to Kobe's 5th or like 6th to last game because we were living in Arizona. So it was his farewell tour.
You were joking.
And no, we were living over there. And we paid like $300 to get nosebleeds.
Yeah.
I almost went to the Jazz game. Like, I almost bought it. It was like $800 and we were just going to drive from Phoenix to go. I was like, fuck it, we'll go. And we didn't. And we watched it at Applebee's. It was full, right? But anyway, back to the 6th game, we saw, it was Devin Booker's rookie year, I think. And PJ Tucker was there. PJ was guarding fucking Kobe. PJ being PJ, Kobe being Kobe. And I remember one time Kobe came down, laces a 3. And then Booker, being the young, kind of coming into his own, laces a 3 back. And I'm like,
the little mohawk he had.
I was like, I know what's about to happen. Kobe comes, Steph Curry range, laces, and he's not a 3-point, like
crazy,
pulls it, hits it. And then after the game, we hang around just hoping you see somebody, right? But they were doing this thing, letting kids hop on the court for one shot. My friend is like 5'5", and he's small. He's got tattoos. He lined up, bro, and like he got led on, and everyone was shooting from the free throw, and he hit a basket in the hoop that Kobe just hit the threes in. Right. And he can now say, like, because you can't do that now because Kobe's passed on. He's like, I made a shot in the same bucket and I'm like, fuck, crazy. I know that too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. So we saw Kobe's, and that was really cool, bro. Like, it was real. So I know what it's like when you get to those, like, being basketball fans, going to those big places where you've just watched your like idols play.
Yep.
So the fact you were like courtside,
scary.
Bro, I would have picked up a ball and shot next to Dame. I don't know what I would have done, man. I would have done.
It was crazy. Yeah. The Marlborough Academy was amazing.
Because he coaches, or did he just like start it?
He was coaching and he was a founder with these other guys, and that's where he was on his way. Yeah. To sort, before that happened, but bro, I bought all the merch and everything.
I bet.
And the trainer was like, I work with them on the daily. They coach together. They like James Harden and Katie and stuff. They'd rock up quite often.
Jesus.
Yeah, they'd get trained by them.
Yeah.
Kobe would do his own one-on-one trainings with them. And it was on the same court that I was training with that guy.
Yeah.
And bro, I just in awe. It's just crazy, the feeling.
Well, you won't forget that.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
That's on. All right, well, I'll get you with the final question, bro. So we can get out
sorry,
here.
bro.
No, you're good. What is it? I'm a big superhero guy, bro. I'm wondering if you are. I'm just wondering, who is your favorite superhero of all time?
Ooh. Bro, I was literally just watching Dragon Ball Super like half an hour ago.
Yes.
Goku,
you finished it?
Goku's my number one. Like, you know how you have gym hype songs? I have gym hype anime episodes. When Goku goes Super Saiyan God, like Ultra Instinct, bro, I'm just so hyped, bro. I'm a kill today.
Yeah.
But yeah, Goku, if you talk about Marvel and DC,
No, superhero is broad.
Like Goku number one for sure. But in terms of the Marvel world, I always had a massive affinity to Iron Man.
Okay.
Just because of the way he was just so confident and the way that he used tech.
Yeah.
And he knew who he was. I just loved everything about Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think Robert Downey played him really well.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But I think that's why I like him so much, because Robert Downey played him.
Yes. He made the character.
Literally, bro.
He made the character.
Literally.
It was perfect.
Literally, bro.
Yeah.
DC, Batman is I always give my best friend a lot of shit about it because I said he's got no power, so he's a pleb.
He's the same as Iron Man.
But I know, right?
He's
But
the exact same as Iron Man, bro.
that's what he said. That's exactly what he said. I was like, fuck you, bro.
So you're gonna say that to me on my own podcast? No.
I love you, bro.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the argument. I was like, oh, you're damn, you're right. So yeah, Batman's cool now.
Yeah. See, I like Batman because he's like oh man, I want to see this change. This guy's terrorizing the city. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
He's kind of like,
Yeah.
he's just a different version of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't dress up at night time, right? And like a cape and like run around.
I call Rickard in Gotham City.
Yeah,
so.
dude. Oh, Jesus.
One thing that annoys me about Batman though is he doesn't want to off Joker. Like in one TV show, Batman, Joker nearly killed Nightwing and all of his mates. Batman still wouldn't do it, even though he killed most of Gotham City.
Because he does kill people. Like that's the one thing about
crazy, right?
Yeah.
He kills some brain damage, you know.
Yeah. Puts them in like a hospital.
Like,
yeah.
man. So who's number one?
Hey?
Is Batman your number one?
As a whole, like I'm not basing off like what character played it the best because then like I very much agree with Iron Man's pretty dope. I love Thor's powers and all that jazz, but like I watched Batman a lot as a kid. And like as I've gotten older, and the Dark Knight trilogy, I even liked Robert Pattinson's the Batman was sick too. Okay. So it's like I just think as a whole, like that superhero is pretty dope. And the fact he has no powers, it's like it shows everyone that anyone can be him. Yeah. Like I know he's a multi-billionaire or whatever, but like he always hated the money. He wanted to just fix things. So like I kind of fuck with that idea as an adult. But also Batman was like the TV show was gangster. Like it was sick. So like I remember I had tapes of it and like I just thought it was always sick.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah, bro. But hey, Goku goes well too.
Hey,
like let's be honest, he beats everyone.
Every single person, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman is a question mark that always comes up, but
no, no way.
Superman's tough.
Yes, Kryptonite. They're done. It's done. Yeah, so I mean, I agree, man.
Man.
Goku's the best, bro. But I really appreciate you coming on, bro.
It's been amazing, man.
Yeah, it's been awesome chopping it up with you, brother.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it, dude.
My God, bro. Honestly, that was such a fun potty, man.
Bro, I didn't know. Like, I feel like as we keep going, I like got way more excited.